Today we're sewing the Juliette Top Dress by Retro Sparkle Designs. Let's start with our pieces. You'll need 2 front bodice pieces, 1 main, 1 lining, 2 back bodice pieces, 1 main, 1 lining, 2 skirt pieces, 1 with the front pockets cut out if you're adding pockets, 2 sleeve pieces, 2 pocket backs, 2 pocket fronts, 2 pocket trims, and 4 arm elastics. We are going to start by taking our sleeves and placing them right side down on the table. Then we are going to fold the curved part of the top of the sleeve down 1/4 of an inch and clip it in place. Then we're going to top stitch. This is to create the channel for the first elastic piece on the sleeve. We're going to do this with both sleeves and make sure that there is an opening on each end so that we can feed the elastic through and top stitch it. Now we're going to take a safety pin and attach it to the end of one of our elastic pieces. Then we're going to feed the elastic through the curved channel that we just made on the sleeve until we reach the other end. Tack the elastic in place on each end to make sure that it doesn't move around, and then we are going to repeat the same step with the other sleeve. Now that our top sleeve elastic is in place on both of our sleeves, we're going to place our sleeves right side down again and fold the bottom of the sleeve up 1/2 inch, clip, and then we're going to top stitch, making sure that there is an opening left on both ends to feed the elastic through. Once again, repeat this step with both sleeves. Take your safety pin and one of your remaining sleeve elastics and pin it to the end of the elastic and then feed it through the bottom of the sleeve until it reaches the other end, using the same process that we did with the upper sleeve elastic. Use a clip to hold the end of the elastic in place while you're feeding it through, and then we're going to top stitch / tack down the ends of the elastic to hold them in place. Repeat with both sleeves. Now that all of our elastics are in our sleeve, we are going to fold our sleeve in half, right sides together, and sew along that straight edge. Repeat for both sleeve pieces. Once that's complete, go ahead and set your sleeve pieces aside, and we are going to get our back bodice main and lining pieces and place them right sides together. Then we're going to clip along the shorter top edge and sew, closing that seam. Set your back bodice aside and grab your front bodice, main, and lining pieces, place them right sides together, and then pin or clip along that shorter top edge and sew, closing that seam. Now we are going to attach the bodices together. So we are going to open our front and back bodice and place them right sides together. The lining should be on top of the lining and the main should be on top of the main. And then we are going to sew down each side of the bodice. There should be 4 sides that we're going to sew down, making sure that we leave that curved armscye unsewn on both sides. Turn your bodice right sides out, and you'll see that the lining is inside and the main is on the outside. Now we're going to attach our sleeves to our bodice. So take your sleeve and place it in the armscye with its right side touching the right side of the bodice. We're going to line the seam of the sleeve up with the seam of the bodice. And then we are going to sew the sleeve on and then feed the serger tail back through the bodice seam. Repeat the same step for the other sleeve. Your bodice should look like this. Go ahead and set it aside, and we're going to begin with our skirts and attaching our pockets. If you're not attaching your pockets, go ahead and skip this part. Take the skirt piece that already has the curves cut out of it. Then we're going to take our pocket trim piece and fold it in half so that it's wrong sides together, long ways. And then we are going to clip our trim piece along that curve. Then take the pocket front piece and place it on top with the right sides down, pin and clip it, and then we'll sew along that curve. So we're sewing through the skirt, then the trim, then our front pocket piece. Do the same with the other pocket. Now we're going to flip that front pocket piece to the back of the skirt, folding it inwards, and then clip along that seam, making sure that our trim, pocket, and skirt piece are all sewn together. And then we're going to top stitch along that pocket trim piece to hold the pocket in place on both sides. Now we are going to attach the back pieces of the pocket to the front piece of the pocket. So flip your skirt over and grab your back pocket pieces, and then we're going to place our back pocket pieces on top of our front pocket pieces, right sides together. We're going to clip along the curve of the pocket, and then we're going to sew. Make sure that when you're sewing, you're only sewing through the pocket pieces. So just those two pocket pieces. Pull the pocket away from the skirt as you are sewing, and then sew along the curve. Repeat this step with both pockets. Now that our pockets are attached to our front skirt tier 1, we're going to place that skirt tier on the table with its right side facing up. Then we're going to grab our back piece of our skirt tier 1 and place it on top of our front piece so that they are right sides together. I like to use clips during this process to make sure that my pockets don't move around. Clip along both short sides and sew the side seams in place. Gather the top of the skirt with your preferred gathering method. Next, we're going to take our bodice and flip it upside down, making sure that we know which side of the bodice is the front and which side of the bodice is the back. This is especially important when you have pockets because you want your pocket side of your skirt to be right sides facing the front part of your bodice. Now take the gathered skirt piece and place it on top of the bodice so that the gathered edge meets up with the unfinished edge of the bodice. So the right sides of the bodice should be right up against the right side of the skirt. We're going to clip all the way around, evenly spreading those gathers, and then we're going to sew to attach the skirt to the bodice. Make sure that your side seams of your skirt are aligned with the side seams of your bodice, and that the front of the skirt with the pockets is lined up with the front of the bodice. If you are making the Juliette top like I am, you're going to fold up the bottom of the top 1/2 inch, and then we are going to hem all the way around the top. If you're making the Juliette dress, you're going to continue with the instructions. And we're done. Make sure to share your makes in the Facebook group.